This episode is brought to you by Hill's Pet Nutrition. Every shelter pet deserves a second chance, and you're making it possible for thousands of them every day. Because when you feed your pet Hills, you help feed a shelter pet, which helps make them healthy, happy, and more adoptable, changing their life forever. So they can change yours. Over 14 million shelter pets fed and adopted. Science did that. Visit hillspet.com/podcast to learn more.
He took my dog out. I was still sleeping.
I did not let that dog out.
He just, a bunch of lies coming out of him.
This is the plaintiff, Miguel Estrada. He says he and the defendant have been friends for 30 years, and the careless guy left his dog out in the backyard. It got out, got hit by a car, and died. Originally, the defendant claimed responsibility and said he'd pay for the vet bill, but now has changed his mind, and here they are. He's suing for $656, the amount he's owed. This is the defendant, Humberto Quintana. He says he was staying with the plaintiff for a few days while visiting from Virginia and had to go out to run some errands one day. The plaintiff told him not to put the dog in the house when he left because it wasn't potty trained, so he left it in the 6-foot fenced-in backyard. He's sorry, but the dog got out of the faulty gate somehow. He feels horrible, but he had no idea the gate wouldn't work properly, so it's not his fault. He is accused of a doggy disaster.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Miguel Estrada, you are suing your friend of 30 years, Humberto Quintana, for $656 in vet bills that you had to pay because of, according to you, he negligently left your dog out to escape. Tell me what happened.
Ma'am, I left him on July 11th of last year. I left him in the backyard with his son.
What was he doing at your house?
They were visiting. He was going to a wedding, days coming, and he needed a place to stay, so he asked me if he could stay with my house.
And how long have you known each other?
At least over 30 years, Your Honor.
You met when you were how old?
I was a kid. I was very young. I was a teenager.
Okay. Okay, so he stayed in your house for how long?
About 3 days.
All right, and what happened?
That day, I had to step out the house. They were in the backyard with his son in the pool, and my little Yogi was in the backyard with them.
Your little Yorkie?
Yeah,
okay.
I called him Yogi.
Yogi.
So before I left, I said, bro, make sure if you leave the house, make sure you tie him back out in the house.
Do what?
Tie him back up in the house.
Tie him up in the house.
Right.
How do you tie your dog up in the house?
I got a little leash by the door. He has a little cage. I leave him there so he doesn't destroy the house when I'm outside.
Okay.
I was gone for about an hour and a half. On the way back home, I noticed a car blocking my driveway.
Whose car was it?
It was the person who just hit my dog. Oh. He got out. And I hear a dog yelping in some serious pain. I knew it was my dog. So I pulled up on the grass, and I walk up to the car. I see he's by the right front tire. His leg's already hanging. He's been destroyed.
I'm sorry.
I scoop him up best I can, and I got to go find it was a Sunday, so I had to find an animal hospital.
Right.
I bring him in the house. I go online. I find out. I go back into the truck. I'm doing like about 100 miles an hour, trying to save his life. As I'm walking into the hospital, he calls me. He goes, "Where are you?" I said, "Bro, where did you leave my dog?" "I'm at the hospital. My dog just got hit." "I can't talk to you now. So I hung up the phone, and they wanted, before they could start working on the dog, they wanted $1,075 on my credit card to start working on the dog. So I put a deposit down. On the way back from the hospital, the doctor calls me, and she says, "I'm sorry, we can't do anything with the dog. Would you like to come back and say goodbye?" I said, "No, I can't do that.
Right.
I can't come back." I says, "Do what you got to do, and I thank you for trying to save him, but I couldn't go back."
So the vet bill for whatever efforts they made plus the cremation was $656.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
All right, when did you next see him?
Well, the next day, because he left the next day. I didn't see him after that. We were texting back and forth.
So you never talked, he left your house before talking to you face to face?
No, the next day, we went to sleep. I made him coffee, and I went out to the backyard to see how the dog might have got out. So I'm thinking, I looked at the fence. I said, well, maybe he stuck his snot out, his nose, and pushed it out. Then he tells me, oh yeah, I saw him running back and forth along the fence. I said, well, if you saw him running along the fence, you have to figure out he's trying to get out. So with that, he leaves.
Before you made him coffee, did you ask him, what did you do leaving my dog out?
Your Honor, I was talking to him all day. I said,
do you have the text?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I see the text? What happened?
Well, Your Honor, I was there. I got there like Thursday night, and Friday, he let the dog out about 8 o'clock in the morning in the yard, and he had a pool there. My son wanted to go swimming, so we got in the pool early afternoon, and I only let my son in there because he was 5 at the time, and so I only let him play in the pool for about an hour. So we came back inside, took showers, and Mikey was there, and he said he had to run out. He had to run and go do an errand.
Where was Mikey during this?
He was around the house.
Inside the house?
Yeah.
And the dog was outside?
Yeah, the dog was outside all day. And me and my son got dressed. Mikey said he had to go run in there, and he ran in there. And I said, well, look, I'm going to go get something to eat with my son. So he said, whatever you do, don't let the dog in the house because the dog will pee on the carpet. That's what he did. He kept repeating that over and over. He said, if you want, you can put him inside in the cage if you want. You know, when I leave.
If you want, not if you leave, go put him in the cage?
No, he said, if I want. So I felt, you know, the dog was outside a good 11 hours, you know, because I didn't leave till 7 o'clock that night with my son to go get something to eat.
Why wouldn't you just put the dog in the cage?
I didn't think about it because he was outside all day. He was outside all day. I didn't think nothing about it. He had a big 6-foot privacy fence around the whole yard. The dog never escaped. So
until it did.
Yeah, until I left. I left out the front door. I never went in the backyard. I never touched the dog. I didn't let him out. And when I got back, Mikey tells me that his dog got hit by a car.
Did you ever figure out how the dog got out?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So it's a sad case. Do you think the defendant is responsible for the dog's death for leaving the dog in the backyard?
Actually, I don't. I think, you know, he was just letting the dog in the backyard, and he wasn't really his responsibility. So I don't think it's his.
It's not his responsibility. It's not his dog, but is it his responsibility when he starts moving the dog from place to place?
Well, your responsibility, your responsibility is for the security of your own backyard.
But it's not, see, that's the thing, it's not his backyard. Once he undertakes to put it in the backyard, is he responsible?
Yeah, I reckon he's responsible. If he chose to put the dog there, he should have made sure the backyard was secure.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
He showed me he said, this is how I think he got out, and he kicks the bottom of the gate with his foot, and the gate can't, because it only has one lock at the top. You know, it didn't have double locks. And I said, Mikey, if you knew the gate was like that, why didn't you put a second lock? And he didn't respond.
Ma'am, that's just
Maybe he didn't know the gate was like that.
He knew it, because that's how he figured it out, that the dog got out.
Maybe he was just surmising how the dog got out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he knew.
Well, he showed me the gate like that.
Why didn't you just put your dog away when you left?
Because they were in the backyard playing in the pool. I figured the little boy could play with the dog in the backyard. And the dog was not outside all day, ma'am.
Will you get this going so I can see the text? You probably had it going and then I kept talking.
Ma'am, I just want to say one thing. In the morning, he took my dog out. I was still sleeping.
I did not let that dog out.
He's just a bunch of lies coming out of him.
No, I want to see the text before this.
There's no text before that. It's after he left, ma'am.
Yeah, but you said that on the night of the hospitalization of the dog that you guys were texting each other back.
No, he called me.
There's no text before this? This is only 3 texts. You said that we were texting the whole time.
If you keep scrolling.
I'm trying to scroll, but it won't go past before that. The first one here says, hey, bro, my final bill for my dog is 6:56, you can mail me a check or money order on July 2014. And you answer, okay, I'll have to make several payments to you.
Yeah, I did it out of compassion.
Where'd your compassion go after that? Because then you didn't.
Because he wouldn't take any responsibility for his dog. I was
well,
like,
at that point, he's not taking any responsibility either, and you're saying to him, okay, I'll make you several payments. How many, tell me how much you paid.
I didn't pay anything.
Not a penny.
Not a penny.
So you didn't pay one of the several payments.
I felt sorry for him. The night that he told me to.
You didn't say that because you felt it was your fault.
No, and I said, I felt bad. When I got back to the house, he was in the house, and I said, Mike, I said, I'm sorry. I said, but I didn't think the dog can get out. He was in the yard all day.
And what did he say?
He just said, man, it's just one of those things, you know. And I said, Mike, if you want, I said, I'll help you pay the vet bill. I offered.
Did you help him pay? I know how great you are that you offered. Did you help him pay the vet bill? No. So it's not like you sent him half. You've done nothing, you know. So when you tell me, if you just, you know, here's what I don't get. If you're a guest in the guy's house, which a hotel would have cost you more than this anyway, but if you're a guest in the guy's house and it's not your fault at all because the guy didn't give you clear instructions, which is what your defense is, why do you offer to pay anything at all? You have nothing to do with it. You didn't take the dog out, according to you. It was okay for you to leave the dog out, according to you. So why are you offering to pay anything?
Out of friendship.
I'm friends with him, but if something bad happened to him that wasn't my fault, I wouldn't offer to pay it. I don't get it. And that's only relevant to me because I have to determine what were you told. What were you told? Because you're acting like somebody who was told to do something and didn't when you feel guilty, and that's why you're offering to pay. And in that time, 4 days later, you weren't saying I'll pay part. You were saying I'll make you several payments and pay it all. So that's kind of you taking responsibility. That's the only evidence we have besides both of your flapping gums is that. I'm ordering you to pay the plaintiff the $656. But let me ask you guys something. How many friends do you have that you've had for 30 years? 30 years.
I got quite a few.
Well, good for you, because you're going to lose them one by one. Because anybody who doesn't value 30 years of friendship in a situation like this, where the guy already lost his dog and you were staying for free in his house, I don't see how you can keep any of them. Verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Judge.
What's going through your mind after this ruling and after being admonished like that?
Just ruined the friendship.
Yeah.
I don't feel I was responsible, but.
You'll throw a 30-year friendship into the garbage over this?
He did.
Mm-hmm. But that's your old buddy, can't you? This friendship is over.
Was, yeah.
All right.
All right, sir.
All right, right down there.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, step on out here. What do you? How much have you lost out of this whole thing?
I lost my little Yorkie. That's what I lost. My little friend. I only had him 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's all it takes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh. What about losing your big friend?
I'm not worried about that because he just went up there and lied left and right. Just total lies.
How could that happen? After 30 years, why would he do that?
I have no idea. I'm baffled by it. I think about it all the time. If a simple thing, put him in the house, he still would have been alive today. So.
And then the way this thing all just broke down and wound up like this with two ex-friends now? Mm-hmm. How? Why? It doesn't make any sense.
Well,
over money?
Over a love for a dog. That's how I'm looking at it.
All right, Harvey?
I got to say, there is a consciousness of guilt here where the guy starts talking about, I'll pay for the damage here. This isn't like a settlement negotiation where it's not admissible. This is kind of like guilty mind. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Jean Quillen. She says the defendant, her neighbor, helped her out by paying the back taxes on her house, and she thought he was just being a nice guy. But then they had lunch together to talk about working things out, and he made a pass at her. It was like he was saying, have sex with me first, and then we can make a deal. She rebuffed his advances, and next thing she knows, the heartless defendant cleaned out all of her belongings and tossed them in a dumpster. He even got rid of her dog. She's suing for $6,000, the value of her trashed stuff. The This is the defendant, Mike Wilburn. He says he paid the plaintiff's back taxes with the agreement if she couldn't pay him back, the house would become his. Then, 2 days after he paid the taxes, the plaintiff up and moved out. The woman just abandoned the place. He doesn't run a storage facility, so he got rid of her garbage. Owe her money for all that junk? Funny. He's accused of tossing it all to the curb. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $6,000 for back rent, taxes, and outstanding water and electric bills.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant tried helping her with back taxes, but what he really wanted was sex, and when she wouldn't give it to him, he trashed her property and got rid of her dog. Now, the defendant says it was all business. It's the case of two things in life are certain, taxes and sex.
Thank you. That's Jane Quillen. You are suing your former friend Mike Wilburn for $6,000 that you say you are out in property that he threw out that he had no right to throw out from your home. You are counterclaiming against her the exact same amount, $6,000, because according to you, she owes you all kinds of money for rent, water bills, cleaning, and you are apparently suing for other people's lost time. All right. You folks had some very strange unusual arrangement. You knew each other how?
We knew each other. We were neighbors, like for years. The whole time we lived there. I lived there with my ex-fiance now. He lived there a year prior to me moving in. And we became real good friends. We help each other out. We live across the street from each other. You know, we do for him, he does for us. We just became really good friends.
And then at some point, the house was in your ex-fiance's name?
Well, actually, the house was paid off. The house was paid off. And then we got behind in the back taxes because neither one of us were working. He was only working a couple days a week. And we got a little behind in taxes, so...
How many years behind?
It was only 1 year. It went up for auction. What they do in Indiana is in September of 2013, it went up for auction. And then someone put a $100 bid on it. So then from that date that they put that bid on, we have 1 year to make that back taxes up. So it was getting close to that time, which was in September.
Boy, you guys play it. You folks can't figure out between the two of you how to raise the money to keep the house?
Well,
everybody sits back, does nothing for a year. Oh, wait, that alarm is ticking again.
No, I tried. He had a drinking problem, but I was trying. But anyway, we went to Mike for help, bottom line. They made a verbal agreement.
Who's they?
John and Mike.
Your ex-fiance and he made an agreement
that he would loan us the $3,800 to pay the taxes, and then we would pay him. John would pay him $300 a month until the $3,800 was paid off, and then I signed the house over to him while that was going on, and then when we got it paid off, he would sign it back over to us.
Wow, that's a risky move.
It is very risky.
How'd that work out?
Not so well, Your Honor.
Okay, so what happened?
Not so well. So what happened was, my ex-fiance got really heavy into the vodka drinking, and it was bad. There was days that I left for a couple days and, got away from, whatever. Well, on November 28th, Mike had warned him because he hadn't paid him for 2 months. So that third month, Mike told him, at the end of the second month, if you don't come up with any kind of payment, John, you haven't paid me since I paid it and everything, he's like, you got to go. Which I totally respect him for that. I would do the same thing as, And so John November 28th, just got up and left and got into treatment. So
everybody's just really in agreement that it's his house now?
Yes.
Were you ever supposed to pay rent or no?
Never asked me to, no.
Okay, and how long were you there?
I was there.
After your ex left, how long were you there?
I was there. I moved up to Wisconsin January 17th.
So you were there from when to when? When did your ex leave? November?
No, November 28th.
So basically
it was on a Friday. He left.
All right. So a month later. By the way, have you talked to your ex? How is he?
He's doing great. He's got 6 months clean time, no alcohol. He's doing very good.
Is he still at the center?
No, he just moved and got his own place.
Do you have issues too?
No, ma'am. I have no issues. I just feel like if Mike wanted me out, all he had to do is say, Jeannie, I'm having a dumpster put in a driveway on this date. This is the date you got to come get your stuff. I would head it all out of there.
And according to you, you did?
Yep.
When did you do that?
It was in December. Let me look. The day I got the dumpster, I texted her. I said, "Jane, you need to get that stuff out."
No, you said
wait a minute.
Because they walked off and left a dog inside the house.
Who's they?
Her and John.
Okay. Did they walk off together, or is it the way she says it? She was there for some time.
She was already moved out. John was gone. He left November the 27th.
When did she move out?
She left a couple days right after I went down and paid it.
I don't know when that is.
That was September the 16th. I went down there and paid it.
September?
Yeah.
So according to you, she left before John?
Yeah, she left way before him.
She says that she might spend a few days out because he was drinking so heavily, but that she would always come back. You're saying that's not true?
She would come back. She wouldn't stay there, but she would come back and see him. But that was, there was no staying there.
Okay, when he leaves, are you under the impression the place is vacant?
Yeah, because he left the door wide open and everything.
So this property went into your name on what date?
September? 16th.
All right, did she have a problem?
She drank a lot and they smoked weed.
I don't drink, Your Honor. I don't drink at all.
Who's that lady?
That's my sister. She helped me clean the house and what it looked like inside when we
You had an affidavit you wanted to show me?
Yeah, I got an affidavit from her friend.
Shane.
Who did you think it was?
I don't know. I'm not sure who it's from.
Who did you think it was?
Shane.
No. It's from Deborah?
I know Deborah.
Oh, okay. So there's two people who would say something bad. All right. Deborah says that she stayed with you in the last year, that you and your ex lived there. There was no running water, and the electric was hooked up through an extension cord. All of the furniture was given to them. She had nothing of value except for pictures of her daughter. She told me herself she was taking Mike to court and get all she could get out of him. According to you, he has a different motive for dumping your stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. He's made past advances at me, wanting me to go down to his place down south, he said, and and it was like the first time that he made a really sexual advance, and I told him, Mike, I don't look at you like that. I've always looked at you as my neighbor. Okay, that was on a Wednesday, and how I remember that because that Saturday was the Saturday all my stuff went in a dumpster. 2 days later, as soon as he knew that was not going to happen.
Would you like to respond to that?
Yeah, that ain't true, Your Honor.
What stuff did you dump?
Oh, what was in there wasn't worth nothing.
But see, that's not up to you to decide. Why? How much? Just listen to me. How much notice did you give her to give her a chance to get her stuff out before you dumped it?
From the 27th of November to 12th.
Well, how from the 27th? When did you give her notice on the 27th?
Because I went there November the 1st, and I told John, I said, John, you ain't paid me nothing in 2 months now. This is November the 1st. You got to pay me something. Oh, I will pay you something. We'll pay you something. Well, November 27th came. He's got up and left. And then, nobody come around and fed the dog or anything. And
well, did you feed the dog? How'd the dog live for another month?
I bought the dog food and everything for it and watered it because she didn't have no running water over. I had to take the water over to the dog till I found him someplace to go.
Did you you found the dog a home?
Yeah.
Did you tell her you were going to find her dog a home?
Yeah, I text John. I text John because I told John.
Do you have your phone to show me the text that you sent to them?
Yeah.
To John. John wasn't there. John was gone.
Yeah, he says you were gone too.
I was there when John left. It was a Friday night. I was there.
Do you have any proof of what the value is of any of the items?
I made a list. They told me to make a list.
Do you have any proof of the value?
All my pictures of my stuff that was in there. Everything was thrown out.
Did you throw out pictures?
Pictures.
Did you throw out pictures?
The day she come there one day and got the TVs, and I helped them set them in the back of a truck. And then my sister here carried a bunch of boxes out to the truck, and she went in the bedroom there and got bags.
Come on up. You helped her move some stuff out?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
When was that?
She came over there with some elderly guy in a blue pickup truck, and Mike carried out the TV that she wanted, and she got him loaded. There was some boxes of pictures and stuff. Me and my sister hauled them boxes and set them on the back end of this truck.
Did that happen?
She took yes, ma'am,
okay.
we did.
Yes or no?
Yes. There was 2 boxes, but all my bedroom stuff, everything else was gone.
But why don't you just take your, according to her, stuff is already gone
that
at that
gone.
point?
That whole house was cleared out.
Had the dumpster been filled at that point?
No.
She come down there all dressed up like she wasn't going to do no work.
That's not true either.
Yes, it is.
That is not true.
Your dog's name was Doobie?
Dobie. It was a min pin. That was my dog.
I told her today, on December 12th, he texted your ex. I told her today about this stuff if she wanted. She told me she was at Debbie's house, that Kathy was going to charge her $20 a day to stay there. And your ex tells him her lies are catching up with her.
Yeah.
Well, at a minimum, there's what we call in the law a prior consistent statement on his part, way back on December 10th, complaining that you are not taking care of the dog, that he's being forced to go over there, and that you came once to get stuff.
That's not true, Your Honor. I love my dog. And you know what Mike told me to do with my dog? He had me in his truck giving me a ride, and he told me I need to take that dog and drop it off on a farm road. So that's why I honestly...
Tell me why it is that you would be there and take only 2 boxes and yet leave $450 worth of jewelry, which you could just put on your person.
But why, Your Honor? Because when I got there, every single thing, every piece of furniture I had was already broken up in a dump. Matter of fact, when I was inside the dumpster, it was raining out. I was on top of all my stuff, trying to dig out pictures and dig out stuff. I started absolutely bawling.
Why, if you came across pictures, why didn't you just save that?
I didn't see no pictures in there.
We did.
You did?
We put them in the back of that pickup truck.
Oh, so she's lying about the pictures.
No, that is not true.
Yes, it is true.
You know what, Larry?
How about him? Is he a witness too?
What's the dog?
He was about the dog. He found the home.
I had
the dog.
boxes and boxes of pictures.
Tell me about the dog.
So if somebody isn't caring for their dog, not feeding it properly, taking care of it, can you treat it as abandoned and take it?
No, you can't treat it as abandoned, but you could report it and then possibly adopt it.
Fair point, but if you really think the dog's in dire shape, are you allowed to just take somebody's dog?
No, I don't think so. I think you should probably report it or something, like what she said.
Reporting. Report or take?
I say take.
Because?
Because if you think that the dog isn't taken care of and if you think that it's in danger somehow, I say take it.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
Mr. Wilburn had contacted me about with the dog. He says that he's been feeding the dog, giving the dog water. And I says, okay, I says, you know, since they're not wanting to come pick it up, I said, I'll try to get a hold of animal control to see if maybe they have room for the dog. And ended up, I called animal control. They says that their facility was full. So I ended up...
Why would all this be happening if you were taking good care of the dog and if you hadn't abandoned the place?
Because he wanted me to get rid of the dog, right? And I couldn't bring it to where I was staying. Why the...
You know what, Miss Quinn, I got to tell you something. I'm not buying the stuff that you're saying. I find that you abandoned all that stuff and he had a right to get rid of it. You have a counterclaim against her for $6,000, but you just got a house for $3,900 and something. How can you claim that you're out anything? What's the value of that house?
Probably about $3,000 because it was tore up inside.
I don't believe you.
No, because I
don't believe you. It's, you know, just a land. You're going to tell me that the land... Oh, the land? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Probably about 40.
Right. So how can you tell me you're out anything when for $3,900 you had the bonanza of the century because they're this big a screw-up where they can't, in all that time, figure it out. They can't come up with $300. They can come up with vodka money, but they can't come up with $300 to pay you and then get a house back. Okay? And he's not even sore. He's like, God bless you. You got a house for $3,900. God bless you. And he keeps telling you, thanks so much for finding a good home for Doobie.
Dobie.
It is Dobie?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he spells it Doobie, just so that you all know. All right, you're getting a good home for him. I'm so glad I miss him so much and all the other stuff. He's not even bitter. But how can you say you're out additional monies when you made you made $37,000? Okay. On your counterclaim 0 also. Good luck, folks.
Both sides, hold on right there.
Boy, what a mess. So everybody comes out with nothing here. Right here, what's going through your mind here coming out of the court?
Nothing. It just wasn't right that somebody could take advantage of somebody like that. But you know what? God will prevail.
What do you think of your old buddy now, your old neighbor now?
I don't like him.
She doesn't like you.
Yeah.
That's what she said. So you got nothing on your... Pardon me?
She doesn't like anybody.
No? What about you? How'd this happen?
I just wouldn't help her no more.
Anyone ever told you look like Ned Flanders from The Simpsons?
No.
Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, you know, in this case, she abandoned the dog, so there's no question. You should know that if an animal is not abandoned, you cannot take it. You can't, even if it feels like it's a humane thing to do, you're just not allowed to do it. You have to call animal control and make sure they handle the situation. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Patricia O'Toole. She says the defendant plowed into her parked car during a snowstorm, promised to pay for the damages, obviously didn't, so here they are. When she went to present him with her estimates, the lying sack of beans changed his phone number. Well, she checked every outhouse, henhouse, and boathouse, and tracked his butt down, and is suing him for the $3,935.16 she's owed. This is the defendant, Milton Williams. He says the woman's clearly taking advantage of him because he just tapped her bumper when he slid on some black ice. What this woman's doing is just not right. She's trying to take advantage of him because her car isn't even worth what she's suing him for. There's no way he's going to just lie down and be taken advantage of. He's accused of sliding into a lawsuit. The defendant's filed a countersuit for $700 for his damages.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant plowed into her parked car, and even though he promised to pay, he disappeared. But the defendant says it was just a friendly tap in the first place. It's the case of hit me with your best shot.
Thank you, Douglas. Patricia O'Toole, you are suing Milton Williams for $3,935.16. The cost that you say it will be to repair a car that he crashed into that was parked. Correct. All right, what happened? And you're counterclaiming her $700 to fix your car because her parked car did damage to your car. Okay, I can't wait. Go ahead.
In March 1st, 2nd of this year, 2015, I was in my driveway. I heard a bang.
Come on up here and maybe you could show me with these little models here.
This would be my car here.
Okay.
And it's parked here, right in front of my house.
Okay.
My driveway's here.
Okay.
I'm in the driveway.
That's probably the driveway up top. Maybe we have it flipped over.
No, actually, it's a two-way street.
You do it however you want to do it. Go ahead.
Okay, and I just hear, when I looked, this is what I see. I just heard a bang.
And what, are you outside?
Yes, in my driveway.
What do you do? And you're standing in your driveway doing what?
Taking snow off my other car.
And then all of a sudden you hear somebody hit your car?
Yes.
Oh, geez. Okay, so go ahead and go back. Why are you snickering?
I don't know, that's not how it happened.
How did it happen? Come over here and show me.
All right. Should we go right hand down? So anyways, yeah, this is the driveway. That's her car. I was on Clove Road, traveling at a decent speed, and there was black ice and snow, and I ended up hitting her bumper like that.
Okay.
And that's how the car ended up.
Okay.
And I couldn't start it. I would have started and moved it, but I couldn't start it. My car shut off.
You would have started and moved on what, fled? What does that mean? You could have started and moved it, but my car shut off. What does that even mean?
I mean, her insurance would have paid it if it was a hit and run. But
oh, so that is what you meant. That is actually, I was joking, but that actually is what you meant.
Yeah,
her insurance would have paid it if it was a hit and run. So I tried to leave, but I couldn't.
The damage is not worth $4,000.
Okay. Can I go back to the lectern, please?
Just being honest.
Okay. Are you a witness or moral support?
Witness. She's a witness.
You are a witness. Come on up. Were you in the car?
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
So what happened?
It was black ice, it was snowing, and the car swerved. Before I knew it, we were already smacked into the other car, but
right.
it wasn't no serious damage.
Okay, we'll talk about the seriousness of the damage. Let me see your estimates and let me see pictures. But what I'd like to ask you is you have a counterclaim against her for $700. On what planet would she pay you for slamming into her car because you slipped on black ice? Why would her parked, what bad thing did her parked car do to your car?
So defense is, hey, I slid in black ice. Is that a defense?
No, it's not.
Because?
Because if you're driving wherever you are and you know the weather there, you should have chains on your tires or whatever to prepare for the weather. You can't just slide on black ice and crash into a car and not pay for it.
You know what? You said it all. That was really good. That was really good. Going inside the courtroom.
Well, it was parked in a driveway, so I don't know if that even matters, but it wasn't in
It's her driveway.
Legit driveway. Oh, no, I understand. It wasn't in the driveway. It was front of the driveway.
I don't know what you're saying. You put it where it was. Okay, it's her driveway. She's not blocking someone else's driveway. So why would her parked car have done something? The theory behind you get her to pay you is she did something wrong. What did she do wrong? She existed in the place where you slipped on black ice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of goofy, right?
I just want my car fixed.
Oh, I'm sure you do. Maybe he or I should pay for it. Why don't you pay for it? He wants it fixed. These are your texts to him? Okay. Why didn't you call the police?
Because when I looked at the bump, it didn't look like it was a lot of damage.
Okay, but where are the pictures of the bumper? They're in here? I gotta see them in this tiny little thing?
But he signed a note.
Let me see what he signed.
And I didn't see nobody in the car also.
Was the damage only, and you didn't see anybody in the car?
No, I didn't.
There was
see
nobody else in the car?
Just me and him was talking, and we was nice to each other.
I was in the car.
I didn't see him.
I was in the car. I didn't get out. I was in the car texting. I didn't want to get into that. They were talking nicely. It wasn't no hostility.
Do you have any texts to prove that you were in the car? Like, oh my God, we just got into an accident?
No, I don't have any texts at the moment.
Why not?
I mean,
do you have your phone?
He has my phone.
No, do you have his phone?
Yeah, because
he has the pictures.
I have the pictures. His phone doesn't take good pictures.
Right. So why wouldn't we find those texts in there?
Because the texts are in my phone.
I didn't text the moment. Yeah, hashtag got into an accident. I don't do that type of stuff on the phone. I'm not a big text freak.
Oh, kind of noteworthy. I'm sitting in a car in the snow. I just got into an accident. She says you weren't even there. He just brought you along for this ride. Either way, let's talk about what happened here. I'm looking at the... I'm sorry?
I was in for a ride, all right.
Okay. I'm looking at the ground here, and I see snow. I see her bumper damage. Was it just the bumper that was damaged?
And the light.
And the light. All right, so let me see the estimate because it is a very healthy bloated estimate, I think. I'm trying to figure out how the bumper and the light could be $4 grand when your car's worth $2.
But I have another estimate also.
Yeah, why don't we see that one? This is a 2003 Ford Windstar, correct?
Correct.
So this other estimate is $2,184.
But he never even got to see the second estimate because when I text him to tell him the second estimate, he blocked my number.
He did?
Yeah. You see it on the phone also.
So he blocks your number. You text him how much he estimated. He says, wait, how much? And then you say it again. That's it. If you want, we could take it to a mechanic shop that you know, which is reasonable. Or do you want to go through your insurance? No, I don't want to do that, but that's a lot of money. I'd understand $600, but $3 grand, that's crazy. And then she tells you, if you can get a mechanic that will fix body work on my van for $600, let me know. But until then, I need my van fixed. I don't need complaining about the amount because you think the price is too high. I'm not made of money. I go to school. I'm not pulling $4 grand out of my blank. I know messed up your bumper, but it's not even that serious. I'll pay you something, but $4 grand is not going to happen. I don't know where you went, but that don't even sound right. That's more than your car's even worth. Okay, I'll file a police report so we don't have to go through this mess any longer. Let me know when you're on your way. Oh, and then you text him that he blocked you. She did text you that she got a lower estimate and you blocked her, so.
I didn't block her.
Yeah, you did. There's a message back from your phone saying blocking is active. You did block her.
No, it's not that I blocked her. I didn't pay my bill. So.
Now, you feel that she's taking you for a ride because of the amount, right?
Yeah, of course.
Right. In fact, she did say to you, why don't you just take it to a place?
I got an estimate for $350.
No, you can't get an estimate. She's got to take her car to the place.
I showed the pictures.
No, pictures don't do it. They've got to see the car. You can't get an estimate.
But a bumper is just a bumper.
Yeah, I agree with you that that's too much. I'm just asking, what did you do to get this resolved? And the answer is pretty much like nada. Because to you, you couldn't believe she was going to sue you. In fact, I think the way you phrase it is what the plaintiff is doing to me is not right. She's black and I'm black. You don't do this kind of thing to your neighbor. It's not the Christian thing to do.
That's what I said.
Right. And so what did that mean?
All I'm saying is We're
what
in
you
the
said.
same boat. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're in the same boat.
Yeah, you're in different boats. Here's a different boat, is you crashed into her car, she didn't crash into yours. And her car was parked. But I agree with you that the estimate is way too high.
Yeah.
The Blue Book value of her car in good condition is $2,079. That's where I'm capping it, $2,079. Verdict for the plaintiff. Pay the lady.
Thank you.
Well, let's see what the defendant has to say about that. You heard she's going to get the value of the car, $2,079. You were right about the estimates were too high, but you still lose.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm just sad because, you know, times are hard, you know, and it's just like people, they just don't care about other people, you know.
Well, still, no matter what the circumstances are, if you hit somebody's car, there is some responsibility there.
Man.
Right?
I don't know, man. I just want to go home.
Okay. All right. All right, head around the corner this way. All right, step on in here. You feeling on this outcome?
I'm so happy it's over with, and I won the case.
Would you make of the whole performance there? His performance.
I can't believe it. It was everything was nice when not that it was nice, but everything was good the day of. He said he was going to pay it. I told him to sign off.
No, we heard all
everything. So I'm happy.
All right, Harvey.
Okay, this gentleman here really kind of nailed it, but there's one other thing, that when you have bad weather conditions, you may have to drive way under the speed limit in order not to be negligent. The speed is dictated by the weather.